And showtime. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the ChannelPro 5-Minute Roundup. A look at news, trends, and tips for the SMB channel in 5 minutes or thereabouts. My name is Rich Freeman. I am executive editor of the ChannelPro Network, also a co-host of this program. I am joined this week, as every week, by your other co-host, Eric Simpson, a business transformation and improvement advisor for MSPs and other IT providers. Eric, how you doing?
Doing great, Rich. Just I think you and I are both, kind of, I heard a little stumble there in your intro. I think we're a little fatigued. We're ready to, get to the end of 2021. There's only a few weeks left. It can't come any sooner, and I'm just excited to see what the end of 2020, what 2021 brings. So it's I see the light at the end of the tunnel to get us to the new year.
I am with you. I think a lot of folks are feeling exactly the same way. We've been waiting for this moment, haven't we? And
Yes.
it is within sight now as we head into the holiday season. But you know what, Eric? Let's talk about our top story of the week here, because unfortunately, this holiday season has not been a merry one for some of the folks out there, and I'm thinking in particular of the team at SolarWinds and at FireEye, who have obviously been very much in the news in recent days. The details are probably familiar to everyone who's watching right now in terms of what happened. So we won't get into that. I'll just share a few thoughts about it myself. We haven't actually written about this on ChannelPro because, from my perspective, if you've got the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times and the Washington Post covering a story like this, probably not a lot from a news gathering standpoint that we can add. But we can talk a little bit about what it might mean, and a few things. So first of all, from a factual standpoint, let's at least acknowledge up front that this is SolarWinds, not SolarWinds MSP that's been impacted here. SolarWinds MSP is the division of SolarWinds for managed service providers. They've got a statement up on their website right now, in fact, that makes clear that there is no indication whatsoever of any kind of compromise to the two RMM systems that company is responsible for. So this incident involves Orion, which is a network management tool used principally, overwhelmingly, by corporate IT departments. And a whole lot of them, something like 450 of the Fortune 500, tens of thousands of other companies. And since March, they have been downloading a Trojan that was successfully placed inside the system by hackers who are believed to be affiliated with the Russian government. So this involved SolarWinds and a SolarWinds piece of software. But let's face it, really, from a ChannelPro's perspective, this story calls to mind themes that we've been talking about all year long in terms of hackers going after MSPs and the tools that MSPs and other IT providers, so in this case, corporate IT departments, utilize. Because if you can get into that tool, that provides an entry point, as we saw here, to, in this case, thousands and thousands of different networks. So it was SolarWinds that got hit this time. This is not the first time that we've seen a management platform get compromised. And unfortunately, folks, it's not going to be the last. And I'm sure every other company out there in the industry right now that does network management, endpoint management of any kind, RMM, whatever, are all just sort of thanking their lucky stars that it wasn't them this time, and triple checking their security protections and hoping it's not them next time, because the security threats, despite everything that the industry has been doing and has done in recent years to get serious about security, and I don't call those efforts into question, clearly they have not been nearly enough to prevent this kind of thing from happening. And I know, talking about vendors, I've been talking with vendors about 2021, and everybody believes there's going to be even more threat activity, even more, significantly more ransomware, despite all of the anti-ransomware software that's out there. It's a very bad week, and there will be some bad weeks to come for SolarWinds, but it was unfortunately their turn this time, and there's more of this to come. And because there's more of this to come, Eric, I think the other thing that's significant here is we've already seen in 2020 a move towards regulation specifically of MSPs. The state of Louisiana passed the first state regulation impacting MSPs. We fully predict that other states will be doing that down the road as well. I do think we're reaching a point. There have been enormous breaches going on, very public breaches going on for years at this point. It's not as if this is an issue that hasn't gotten awareness among the general public, but I do wonder if this was maybe a tipping point incident where you begin to get more of an outrage factor from lawmakers and more interest in holding software vendors, service providers accountable for meeting the commitments that they've made, and being clear and transparent about their capabilities, and what they can do and what they can't do, and the degree to which this might accelerate some of what we are expecting to see next year in that area as well. But I mean, for right now, all I can say is, just a tough break for SolarWinds. We'll see what we learn down the road in terms of how this came about, and we'll see, who the next company is that unfortunately gets pulled into this kind of story.
Yeah, there's no good news for anybody. I mean, anybody out of this malicious activity. It's these hackers. It's kind of like, if it reminds me of the old adage, how good is a car alarm, right? How good is, like, remember that I forget what it was, that steering wheel lock people would put on their steering wheels, and the thing was, well, there's so many cars here. If they see the thing with the steering wheel lock, they'll go get another car. But if they want to get in your car and they want to steal your car, they'll just get the person that can do that and steal the car. And I think what this is like, they've now basically thrown down the gauntlet that says, look, we can hack, we can hack you guys. We can hack. This is thousands of government, networks. Like you said, 400 and some of the 500 Fortune 500, and IT departments and internal IT departments everywhere. And I think it just emboldens the next series of activities. I mean, this is something where we are unprepared for it. Even if we have our best security experts on hand, how do you spread a community of security experts that's already thin to try to preempt the next level of attack that's coming in? From what I read and what I understand today, I mean, this is a hack that employed techniques that has never been seen before. So these folks are evolving, and really increasing their capability. So like I said, and the way you so aptly, positioned it, it's not the last time. And that's the bar now. So what's next? And I think it really terrifies, business owners and folks that are responsible for security, and MSPs as well. And like you said, yes, I definitely believe there is going to be some regulation now that it's impacted, a lot of these government networks and things like that. I mean, this is not something that, that our legislature is going to, look askance to. So I fully expect that. And it's just another, and I also expect that the ability for MSPs and business owners to obtain and implement cyber liability insurance, I believe that's going to change as well. It's such a moving target, and it's such a young, our maturity level at guarding against this stuff is nowhere near what it needs to be, obviously. And I don't know if it ever will be. So, the one thing that I always promote to MSPs and IT providers, channel pros, is, look, get yourself some cyber liability insurance and make sure that your clients are getting it. And I'm understanding now that it's becoming harder to do so because of the frequency and the severity of these attacks. So, it's a puzzle that's going to take a while to solve.
I think that's exactly right, and maybe the most disturbing aspect of the story. I mean, and if there is an area where I would like to, dig in a little bit, it would be to reach out to some of the security experts I speak with, regularly when researching stories, to just sort of ask them, because there's more we will learn about SolarWinds and what happened to them, and was there something that maybe they could have done to prevent this from happening. But I think it's fair to say it's extremely difficult, basically, like you were saying, against a determined attacker to keep this kind of thing from happening. And so the question then becomes, what do these companies do? What should their clients do, their customers do, given that inevitably these things will continue to happen? And to some extent the goal becomes identifying the issue quickly and figuring out how to mitigate it quickly. It's just hard to know the degree to which this could have been prevented.
Right. And what do we learn from it? I think they've already identified how it happened, and the tactics and techniques that these bad actors executed to do this. How do we get that information out to other organizations that can be that hack can also be utilized against, and get them the information they need to shore up their defenses, et cetera. So yeah, it's kind of it's a resource issue. At the end of the day, I mean, do number one, we don't have enough resources, and number two, um, the resources that we have may, like I said, they've never seen this before, so it's kind of like, oh, we need to step up our game as well now. So yeah, it's like I said, it's we'll have to see how what happens in 2021, but we're advantage cyber hackers right now.
So I do think we'll learn more specifically about this particular hack in 2021, and I'm sure there will be stories like this we'll be talking about then. At this particular point in time, if you are a SolarWinds customer, you're probably not super happy with those folks at this moment in time, but our hope, certainly, ChannelPros, is that your customers are happy with you and the work you've been doing with them. And your tip of the week, Eric, has to do with making sure the world knows about your satisfied clients.
Right, Rich. So yeah, it's a segue that kind of juxtaposes. If you're doing a great the story that we just covered, but if you're doing a great job for your customers, you know it, and so do they. And the tip of the week here is about how to leverage their satisfaction for your benefit. So, for instance, Rich, I mean, most of the PSA solutions that are in place by channel pros and MSPs have kind of a customer satisfaction function. And there are other platforms that I think more mature IT providers are using to gauge customer sat and things like that. And in many cases, when an end user is satisfied, they give you the best number of stars or smiley faces or whatever it is to indicate that their satisfaction. And so, how do we take that and leverage it, beyond just internal confirmation that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, and our customers are thankful for it? Well, I suggest that every channel pro goes out there and signs up for Google customer reviews. It's an online process, and then you can ask those customers that are giving you these great reviews, hey, would you please do me a great big favor and post that review on Google customer reviews for me? And what that does, Rich, is it adds to the SEO, and it adds to the algorithm that Google uses to rank companies. And I was on a webinar earlier today and was reminded of the value of this. It's one of these things that I knew about, but really the way that it was presented, I thought, wow, why should we all be doing that? So my guest host was talking about the most highly rated IT provider in the United States has something like 245 5-star reviews. And he said, well, listen, among 5 of your clients, you may have 245 users. So reach out to them and ask them to post a review. And he said you can reward them. I wouldn't go as far as to, crossing a line to look like I was, bribing somebody to do that. But if they send you a positive review, it's really nice to, hey, would you do me a big favor? Click this link and post that review on my Google customer reviews page, please. And very quickly, you can amass more positive reviews than anyone else that you're competing with that's not doing this. And then your SEO shoots way up, and now you're getting more exposure online and leveraging that ability to grow your business.
Yeah, for better or worse, and probably for worse a lot of the time, a lot of channel pros out there rely on word of mouth marketing
Right.
to generate new business, and you've got to get people talking about you if you want to put word of mouth marketing to work. And this is one of those things where in order to get people talking about you, you've just got to pick up the phone, or when you're in a meeting, ask for it. That's the thing that's hard to do, and then I think people either don't think to do or are reluctant to do. But you really do just need to ask the customer, first of all, are we doing a good job for you? And if we are, would you be willing to take this step, go to this website and say that we're doing a good job for you? So yeah, you've got to be willing to ask the question, ask it on a regular basis, in order to get that endorsement. And it's interesting to hear you say, if you do get even a modest amount of endorsements, you're going to be in the top quintile of companies that are doing this at all right now.
Absolutely. I mean, so few are doing it, and especially in our industry. And there's an old saying. I grew up in New York, and I always heard it. Don't ask, don't get. So yeah, if you don't ask, you ain't gonna get. But also through this program, you get to get a badge that you can put on your website, and it indicates that status. So even on your website, you can say, hey, I am the number one highest reviewed IT provider in my sphere of service, which is awesome, right? I mean, that's a seal of approval, and they can click it and go and read all those reviews. And again, you don't have to keep, that's always the challenge, right? It's like, oh, getting customer testimonials and all this and updating the website. Well, hey, if you're just sending them to give you, hey, give me 5, match what you said here, copy and paste it there, and give me the same amount of stars. That would be awesome. That's all I'm asking you to do. It takes just a couple of minutes. And it's the gift that keeps on giving, because of course that has much higher authority than your website probably ever will. I mean, this is Google, business page, where they show your, the card that shows up when they search for you. This is your business, and here are all the reviews.
Great tip. Great tip. I hope people follow up on that. It leaves us with time for just one more story, folks, and it is holiday appropriate. We're looking for good news as we cruise into the end of the year here, and boy, what could be better than a chorus of porta potties singing Christmas carols? And yet, this is exactly what we've got for you here, folks. There is a company in Indiana called Service Sanitation. They rent out porta potties. They also are the caretakers of what they call the Jingle Johns. Can't make this stuff up, which is their little chorus of portable toilets, 32 portable toilets, in fact, singing a song. But let's just take a look at that. Don't you think people need to see this, Eric?
This is a marketing stroke of genius for this company.
There it is, folks. There it is. The Jingle Johns doing their thing. I'll just unmute that very briefly there. It's so few things to celebrate in this year, and we're so grateful for the holiday season and looking forward to it. But still, looking for all the good news we can get. Singing porta potties right up there, and apparently this is, they are claiming. I don't believe this is an official Guinness World Record, but the Service Sanitation folks believe there have never been more simultaneously singing porta potties in the past. So you're looking at history right there, folks.
This is making the most out of what you have, Rich. That is a great example of that.
Well, folks, that is all the time we've got for you this week on the 5-Minute Roundup. Thank you so much for joining us. If you like the show, you want to take a look maybe at some episodes you missed in the past, you want to know about the new ones when they become available, take a visit to the Channel Pro Network channel on YouTube and become a subscriber. If you click the little bell icon you'll see there, you'll get notifications when the new episodes go up. You want to read more about what's happening in the industry, get great business growth advice for your company, go to channelpronetwork.com every day because we have got awesome new content for you going up there every day. To learn more about Eric and the work he does with his clients, please visit ericksimpson.com. That is ERICK Simpson.com. So once again, thank you very much for joining us, folks. It is a holiday week next week, but we will be back with another episode of the 5-Minute Roundup. Until then, please enjoy the rest of your week. Eric and I are enjoying the rest of your week already.